Presidents and Chairmen of Agencies of Tertiary Education Division of the Ministry of Education, Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Board of Directors of MIC Institute, the Professor Clement Mbert. The accent is on the first E, so it's Clement. In his absence, the Principal of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine Campus, Professor Brian Copeland, Chief Executive Officer, MIC Institute of Technology, Mr. Anil Ramnarayan, members of MIC IT's executive and management team, Mrs. Hazel Manning. Let's have a round of applause for Mrs. Hazel Manning. Consultant, team lead of the leadership firm. It's nice to see you back out and still contributing to Trinidad and Tobago. Distinguished speakers, two of them have gone. Participants, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, I have to thank MIC for setting me up. What do I say now as the last speaker that has not already been said by our two motivational speakers, our distinguished lady from the who spoke on issues of law? And what do I say, having been set up because I did not know the Stylistics was going to be here this morning? The Stylistics is the group who sang "You Make Me Feel Brand New." So again, thank you for setting me up, school children. When you leave here, go and Google on YouTube. You can't Google on YouTube. Go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and punch in Stylistics. You Make Me Feel Brand New. That was the song that, this is being recorded, right? So I have to behave myself. That was the song your parents would know. Read into that what you may. So play it for your parents tonight, they will know that song. What could I say that is different that has not already been said? So I'm going to mix a bit of theology, a bit of personal experience, and a bit of patriotism. And I start with Proverbs 12:11. Those who work the land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. And this mirrors what our first motivational speaker was saying. It mirrors closely what he was saying. You must have a plan. You must execute your plan. Isn't that what he said? Isn't that what this verse is saying? Those who work the land, but let's not take land literally. Let's just say those who work. Whether it's the land, whether you work in an office, whether you work for yourself, whether you work washing cars for a living, those who work will have abundant food. That means you will not go without. And don't take abundant food literally. Those who work will have abundant food. Those who work will have a sense of purpose. Correct? But those who chase fantasies, those who blame others for their circumstance, those who depend on the government of the day for their daily bread have no sense. What the government will do is put everything in your path to take advantage of opportunities so that you can work. Free education, subsidized electricity, subsidized water, free health care. Take advantage of the opportunities so that you can work the land. So that your theme which you have today, and your theme goes like this: excellence, no exceptions. That is what a country can do for you. So you can excel without exception. So all 1.3 million of us can excel. Like all the other speakers, I was only given 24 hours notice to be here. I got the call yesterday from the Prime Minister's office. So I want to thank the Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, for the opportunity to represent him. And this is what is great about this country. I am a country boy from Caroni, today standing here representing the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Take advantage of the opportunities that this country places at your feet. Okusa had to go to Uganda and Sudan to be run back here, to be told, go back to the country that has been good to you. And we stay here and we curse Trinidad and Tobago for our circumstance. But in saying this, I want to congratulate all the admin professionals, because you don't do that. The genesis of your profession, as I found out, was in post-World War II, especially in the United States. Coming out of the World War II, where industry had to rebuild itself, and you started to have this baby boom, you started to have something called a typing pool, and you will see a whole room like this full of just typists. And then the profession was not a profession then. The job evolved into that of secretary, and today we have the admin professional. And it is more than a name change. It recognizes the value that society places on you. And in trying to prepare to say something strong today, especially coming after such wonderful speakers, I recently had the pleasure of reading this book, Sabga, A Will and a Way. What does this book have to do with admin professionals? And I turned to page 186 of this book. And littered throughout this book, he pays tribute to 3 women in his life. Well, 4. His wife, but 3 women who are not related to him. These women are, and this is the photograph of these 3 women. Andrea Leasing, Barbara Paris, Maria Superville Nielsen. These were his secretaries, and then evolved to his admin assistants. So the career of Dr. Anthony Sabga and the support he received from these 3 women mirror the evolution of your profession. Because he would have started off this in the 1940s, 1950s. And when you read this book, the value he places on these 3 women goes beyond the paycheck. And when the first motivational speaker was speaking, and he stole my point, I turned to Mr. Manning. Sorry. I have been indoctrinated. He's a man I admired very much. God rest his soul. I turned to Mrs. Manning, and I turned to Professor Clement Imbe, and I said, this is a note I had before the first motivational speaker spoke. And my note is, what is the value that admin professionals place on themselves? And my note goes on to say, it is not your paycheck. Remember he was speaking about that? Modern society, because we are so materialistic, we tend to think of our value in terms of money. But if these 3 women on page 186 of this book only saw their value based on the paycheck they would have received, your lives today would have been different. You know why? Because their dedication to service helped build a conglomerate that now employs 3,000 people throughout Trinidad and Tobago. That one of the biggest private sector firms that employs people. You know that? So what admin professionals do what you all do goes beyond the value of your paycheck. And that is why I'm trying to link everything here this morning. We play the national anthem. Let us stop thinking about ourselves only in terms of a paycheck and say, because I am paid $4,000 a month, I will do $4,000 of work. When you do that, you don't leave a legacy, you don't leave an opportunity for your children and your grandchildren. And that is what these three women did. These three admin professionals. It is because of them and their support to Dr. Anthony Sabga that he was able to build a conglomerate that could employ 3,000 people. And as another passage says, all my help cometh from the Lord. So as we start to build a society, because excellence, with your theme, excellence, no exceptions. Nation building is not a destination. Independence was not a destination. Republicanism was not a destination. It is all part of a grand journey as we build a country. And you as admin professionals build a country. And if I quote, and we don't tell you all thanks enough. And it was Joseph Addison who said, no one is more cherished in this world than someone who lightens the burden of another. And that is what admin professionals do. And I could attest to that. In the Ministry of Health, I have two admin professionals. They know more than me about the ministry. I rely on them every day. And when you provide this excellency of service, and your theme is excellence, no exceptions, it means that tough situations don't destabilize you, don't demoralize you. Excellence, no exception, means that your game face and your poker face is always on. You are the consummate professional. You are the gatekeeper. You are the first voice, the first face that people interact with. And what you do on a daily basis is very often achieve the impossible. Agreed? So let's give them a round of applause for that. You all do the impossible. But I'll tell you something, admin professionals, when you do the impossible, only means that the boss will add it to your normal duties. So be aware of that. Doing the impossible then becomes the norm. What I want to leave with you, because I'm going to cut my speech short, we have been here a very long time. I want to leave you with a couple themes, because I still am the substantive Minister of Health. So I'm going to mix up some Minister of Health business with admin professional business. Admin professionals, are you healthy? Admin professionals, the same way the lawyer this morning spoke about new themes coming into our language, proportionality, legitimate expectations, I want to segue into my substantive role as the Minister of Health. You all sit too much. It is unhealthy. I'll be launching my NCD program next week, Wednesday, and I'm going to start to introduce into the national conversation something called the sitting disease. You can laugh. It's a serious matter. And I want to challenge your association to start to do some work and advocate in your offices, as I have done myself. In my office, I took one of my, whatever you call it, the same height. And I now do 40% of my work standing. You have to get standing desks. As admin professionals, start to advocate in your places of work that you get desks, that you could do some of your work standing. Do you agree with me? It's healthy. It's good for your health. I hope all these murmurs I am hearing is agreement. How many bosses are here? Let me see your hands, the bosses. Right. Put some standing desks for your admin professionals. So folks, I hope my few words, because I wanted to cut it short because we've been here a while, I hope my few words about excellence touches a nerve. I hope my few words about self-reliance touches a nerve. And I hope that my last bit of intervention as I represent the Prime Minister is a passage taken from Genesis 12:2. Whether you're an admin professional, a prime minister, a former minister, a professor emeritus, we are in the business collectively, school children, people from the fire, is that the fire? People from the fire services, people from MIC. We are in the business of building a nation. And John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We in Trinidad and Tobago don't practice that. We always say, what can Trinidad and Tobago do? And Mother Trinidad and Tobago has been doing for us for years, for decades. Mrs. Manning alluded to, now we are in different times. Now is the time for the children of Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of your age, to start to do for your country. And to close off, and to encapsulate the theme, I'll leave you with this from Genesis 12:2. And I will make a great nation, and I will bless you, and make your name great, and you, every one of you, shall be a blessing. Thank you very much.